and welcome everyone back to the final episode of the Secret Invasion Spoilercast. That's going to be solo. We should hopefully have Jared and Sean back on for a extra long series roundup. So I say extra long. It's probably going to be like the hour or so. That used to be the case, but I should hope that'll be coming out. Hopefully, so we can get everyone sometime after this. Probably around Wednesday. So it'll be a week after this has come out and everything. Everyone's had a chance to watch it, etc, etc, etc. But anyway, I'm Mitch as always. You can follow me at the socials with Mitch692, 692 tweets, 692 Mitch underscore 692 on Twitter, not Twitter, Instagram and Threads. Yeah, it's all in the link tree in the description. You can go follow me there. You know where that is. So yeah, Secret Invasion Episode 6, Home. I am just going to start with the one thing I've been asking for the last 2 weeks, and that's how long Rhodey's been a Skrull. Spoilers, obviously, Spoilercast. 2016. Civil War. Rhodey took the fall, literally, and since then he's been a Skrull. And I don't want to come off as someone just initially reacting and being overly negative on something, because I don't think that's that constructive. I've been pretty adamant and vocal on this exact concept of a show, and I was hoping they wouldn't do this, but they did it anyway, and I don't like it. I'm not a huge fan of Secret Invasion in the comics anyway. I think people know that. I don't know. It changes too much. I don't think it works in this sort of a setting. In the comics, everything happens within a few months and years of each other. So you can have someone be a Skrull from a run a decade ago, and in time it's only been 5 years. Right, it's still a long time to have someone be a Skrull, but you can work around something like that. With this, where everything A used to work in real time, and B now everything's leaping years and years in with each project, I don't think it inherently works. I think it runs into the problem of you then look back and it takes away certain things. I think they've done Endgame a huge disservice and injustice by this, and obviously I know you need to make it an impact. I know you need to have this sort of a reveal be worth it, and something like that, sure, having it be like 10 years at least, I get why. I just don't inherently like that idea, and they've done it twice, right? They went back and they, we know Russ has been a Skrull for X amount of time, but then they didn't even tell us how long. Has Russ been a Skrull the entire time we've known him? We don't know. The show never answers that. Has Russ been a Skrull just in phase 4, like since the blip, so phase 5? Phase 4 and 5, sorry, no, I was getting confused on what phase we're on, because they've been going so quick now. But yeah, I don't think it's inherently a good thing that he's been a Skrull that long. I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words on it slightly. Maybe it's because I'm recording this on the Wednesday it's come out, and despite seeing it twice because we've done the commentary, for this, it's still very raw. But I just generally don't have a proper idea on how I feel about it. Because the initial first reaction, as you might have guessed, bad. Not a fan. Maybe I'll call off by the time me, Jared and Sean talk about the show as a whole, but as it stands right now, yeah, not a fan of that. I feel like the episode as a whole, or the show as a whole, fell into the same trap all these shows are falling into, and that is not using the 6 episodes as well as they should. I've said it every week of every show, near enough, it should have been 8 episodes. I think 8 is the sweet spot, to be perfectly honest. 13's too long, 23 is out the question. or 22, whatever stuff like Shield and Arrow and Flash used to be. Yeah, I think 8's the sweet spot and everything, and with this show as a whole, I think you can honestly skip episode 2, 3, half of 5, and maybe most of 4, and you've got the makings of half a really good show going on here that actually has the agency that this concept needs. But I'm not a writer, maybe that wouldn't work properly. I don't think you can take exactly what we have here and without changing anything. But I think the concept of it, if we had Gravik be a Super Scroll quotes for episodes and nothing really came about it, apart from in this one where we had a 2-minute fight, and I'm not entirely sure if he's quote dead or not, because he has the extremist regeneration stuff, and we've seen that work twice. So I don't necessarily know how or why we're supposed to believe that he's dead here, but I'm going to assume he is dead, and that's just going to be the end of Gravik's quote character arc, because I don't think he inherently had one. He started off the same disenfranchised Skrull refugee, and he ended up being a disenfranchised dead Skrull refugee, and that's a shame. But it's for a nameless villain. It's at least it's not, it wasn't Killrit or however you pronounce Super Skrull's name in the comics. But that's what we got. Fury's arc is in the show. It's okay. I still, even Fury's arc, I don't necessarily think he had a massive one, and that might be a massive pitfall of the show. Thinking about it in hindsight, there's no real development for anyone. Genuinely nothing happens in this show, and it's baffling. And I've said it for 6 weeks now that it's something should have happened in this show, and as I said a minute or so ago, that should have. You can cut 1, 5, and 6, and you have the half of a really good show going on here. You have the agency that Secret Invasion needs. We have 1 million Skrulls. Well, now we have. We don't know how many are going to be sticking around. Are they just going to go to the Saber base? Because the President of the United States is very inherently racist after one little thing, which I thought was a bit much. I thought that went a bit corny. I get what they're trying to go for, and they're very much playing on the current political fears of people and the messaging that gets used for certain sides of politics to gain favour, to get into power. But I don't know, because I feel like this isn't gonna pay off anywhere. I think that's one of, not the biggest thing, but it's definitely a pitfall against the show. We have the Marvels coming out next. We know Fury's just chilling on the Saber base. We now, he's obviously got his wife there, so he's going to be happy. But the Marvels isn't going to be dealing with that, and if it is going to have any fallout, it's going to be half a line, and then they're going to move on with the movie, because that's just how that movie has to go, right? It's not, as far as we're aware, unless they're pulling some crazy marketing, that's even more than Infinity War with fake footage, and everything we've seen's fake, and it's all to do with the fallout from this show. It's not going to go anywhere. And when's the logical next place to show up? Probably going to be Captain America Brave New World, whenever that's supposed to come out. But even that, you're going to get half a line about how the president's not the president anymore, and it's going to be, everyone assumes Harrison Ford. Though, with how this show went, with everyone assuming that Rhodey was the Skrull, I think it's a safe bet that Harrison Ford's going to be president by that time. So what's gonna happen there? You're not really going to get much. We know that movie's dealing with Hulk stuff. I say we know, it's the rumoured from all the scoopers that's going to be dealing with the Hulk stuff. So what inherently was the point of this show apart from getting Super Skrull to be a thing? Because it's not like Fury's got any real favour with the Earth anymore. Like, he's still relatively in the same spot as he was when he he started this show and when he left after the blip. But it wasn't all bad. I enjoyed the twist with Fury going to see Gravik and it turning out to be Gaia. I thought that was well done. Even though I did have questions as it was happening, like why is Fury just gleefully walking into, you know, the Chernobyl dead zone and all this, and he's, for a guy working with Shield who has a face changing mask, why doesn't he have like a breathing apparatus to filter out all the radiation? And he's just stumbling around. But obviously there's going to be cameras around that place, Gravik's going to be watching, so you've got to put on a convincing show, and that's just what Skrulls do, right? That's the whole point of them. But again, dialogue in this show was good. I just wish it amounted to anything. I don't think this show inherently knew what it was going for. Maybe there was reshoots and they all, a bit like Falcon and Winter Soldier, they got jumbled about and lost along the way in production somehow. I'm not 100% sure on that, because Gravik mentions Russia just moving military to the Ukrainian and Finland borders, and okay, Russia hasn't really played a part, at least politically wise, like, and actually reacting to things. It hasn't played a part in the show whatsoever, and I get why that would be cut, but that line was very odd to keep in, because okay, they haven't really, you know, it's all been the US or Rhodey trying to pin everything on Russia for the last 6 episodes, and all of a sudden, hey, it's they're now mobilizing. Like, okay, can we have another episode to deal with this? But anyway, we now have Super Skrull Gaia. She has DNA of every Avenger you could think of, and non-Avengers. She's got Thanos' DNA. She's got Valkyrie's DNA. There's, if you were at the fight in Endgame, she has your DNA. You know, if you ever touched a penny, Gaia has your DNA. Little Simpsons reference for you there. But yeah, it's not my least favourite of the shows. I still put this above What If. I think What If is a bit of a swing and a miss. I can appreciate what they tried to do. Same with this show. I can appreciate what they were going for. I just don't think it was executed well. But hey, it's been and gone now, right? Yes, that's doing most of that. But yeah, I'll hopefully have more well thought out feelings on this show coming in the next couple of days, and I assume we'll have a good conversation with Jared and Sean, as long as they can both turn up, and we can go to that. Maybe they can change my mind. Who knows? I'm a stubborn old goat, so maybe they can't, but I'm open to listen to people. So yeah, that's going to bring an end to this. I wish Olivia Colman was more fleshed out. She didn't have much to do, and that's a shame, but at least the show ends with her and Gaia possibly having more to do, right? There's actually a nice setup there of them being the new Fury and Talos and trying to get Skrulls an actual homeworld. But we'll see where they next appear, if they ever do appear. You know, hopefully this show can at least have Emilia Clarke in the Marvels for half a scene. Have a little cameo set up where, because they've got to explain the whole Saber base to people, right? We've literally only seen it. When did we see it? No Way Home? No, not No Way Home. Far From Home? I think, is that the only time the movie people have seen Saber? I think it generally might be, you know. So that was a long time ago. They haven't really done much with that base, and that's just floating up there. And we know there's Skrulls on there because we've seen it in the trailers. So they got a bit of explaining to do there. Not that I think they will. I think, cause obviously they've got to focus on the Marvels plot, but hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Whether that's this year or they delay it next year because they decided they're not going to pay their workers fairly. So yeah, I'll catch you next time. So bye bye.